Grainy. Why is it grainy? Hello, all. No, it's still grainy. I don't know why it's grainy. How does it look on YouTube? Let me just see. Oh, I haven't muted the that. Oh. Looks a bit not grainy, but it looks a bit off. I'm not sure, funny, but it's clear. Hopefully you can hear me okay. And the audio is fine, working fine. Let me just double check. Yeah. Okay, back to Zoom. So yeah, I've just sorry. Hello, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I've just decided to sign back up to Zoom and use Zoom. Try Zoom. But the way that I'm doing it is if you want to join Zoom, you join it through the link, which you can find on my website or now on Facebook, and it should be the same link each time. So that's that link, and then you can join, and you can join between 5 to 5 and 5 past 5, and then I close the waiting room thing, and you can't then join. The reason why I do that is to have control over when people are entering the room and when they're not. So it's just easier for me to not have that disturbance and distraction. And my control freak tendencies. Yeah. And what was it? And you can ask questions as well through YouTube as well. So if you haven't joined the Zoom in time, you have a 10-minute slot. And then you can also just ask questions through the chat. Obviously, you can't speak through the chat. You have to speak through Zoom. But then you have to just join on time to get into Zoom. So, oh dear. Anyway, welcome. Hello. Welcome to the, welcome to the weekly stream. Just getting used to having 2 different screens on and how to manage that. I forgot how I did it before. But yeah, that's fine. Okay, I can see the chat box as well now, so perfect. So the title is right there, fantastic. On YouTube, Lost in Identification. Non-duality, Kelly Spencer. Yeah. So what is non-duality? What does it mean to be lost in identification? So non-duality is pointing to something that is abundant. It's everything, but it's not something that is talked about or discussed or pointed out. Obviously it is in talks, but generally it isn't. So non-duality is pointing and talking about something that isn't generally spoken about, isn't known about in general mass society, isn't spoken about. So we grow up without that teaching, that perception about what is actually happening. So we as humans, we normally grow up with this narrative, this thinking mind, and it's describing things, it's describing the environment, it's describing what is happening, it's describing this body, and it begins to describe this experience as if it's a personal experience, as if somebody is sitting here, as if somebody is speaking, as if somebody is hungry. And that's the way the language is. It's I am this, I am that, I'm doing this, I am doing that, I feel this, I feel that, I want this, I want that. And that's just the way it has to be something, you know. It could have been another word and another sound. Bleep blop, hungry, bleep blop, tired, bleep blop, that. But it's I am, or I feel, or I, whatever, the word I. And it's referring to this body. So this body is hungry. This body wants to go to bed. So it's a really innocent expression. But what seems to happen in humans is that becomes that simple, innocent expression of I, referring to this body, this form, it begins to feel like that I is referencing an actual separate individual inside the body. So it begins to feel like that. I'm actually separately in here, looking out, experiencing everything else that's separate from me, separate from this I. And that seems like, well, so what? That's not a big deal, so what? But it is so what, because that sense of I'm experiencing, I am doing, I am independent, individual, separate, that then it's a lot on that character person, that sense of I am. If you are the one doing, if you are the one thinking, if you are the one this and that and this and that, it begins to feel very heavy, because then you are responsible, you are to blame, you are the one who's causing this, doing that, thinking that. There are lots of pleasurable things in it. So I've achieved this, I've qualified in this, I've got that. There's positive, but then it's also the opposite of negative. I've done this bad thing, I haven't got this, I haven't qualified in this. So it's this dualistic experience of high and low, pleasure and pain. And that again is also like, it's just part of that. It's part of the way it is. Pleasure and pain, up and down. Got it, lost it, have it, don't have it, want it, don't want it. But the reason why this is also spoken is because that begins to feel very, very heavy and very confining and very suffering-y, very suffering. Suffering comes from that very heaviness of trying to make this pleasurable all the time, trying to eradicate the negative, the opposite, and have more of the other opposite. And so what is being pointed out here is not about getting the positive or more of the pleasure and getting rid of the negative. That's impossible. That's just the way of this, or the way of form, the way of experience. But what is being pointed out or suggested or pointed out is that there's something here that isn't in that. It isn't moving in that. And that experience of high and low, got it, not got it, it's always changing and fluctuating to this, to that, to this, to that. It's not a permanent thing. The story is always moving and changing. But there's something that isn't in that movement of change, isn't in that pain, pleasure dynamic. And that is wonderful. That full stop is wonderful. There's something that isn't in that pain, pleasure experience. There's something right here that isn't in that. Doesn't move, doesn't change, isn't good or bad, positive or negative. And that is such a celebration. That is such freedom from that swing, from that story swing. It's just here. It's just simply here. It's not worked towards, it's not earned. You can't have it, you can't lose it. It's just what is. It's simply here. It's simply here. The birthright of this. The birthright of this moment. It's simply here. Simply here. Simply here. So in the identification, in the story, in the narrative, there is all this there's all this division, there's all this you, I, me, you, this, that, right, wrong, good, bad, rich, poor, black, white, straight, not straight, all these different dualities, all these different categorizations and labels and distinctions and qualities and difference. I can imagine like some kind of like, and then all this difference like pours out of the one comes many, these different appearances, different forms. And that creativity of that is beauty. It's immense beauty and an immense like mystery, and like you can't fathom that creativity. But it's going to say illusion, but it's illusion. But just to clarify what I mean by illusion, it appears. It's not an illusion, as it's not real. It's not. It's appearing. It's appearing. You could say it's real, but it's not what you perceive it to be, or what it looks like, or what it feels like, or what the perception of it is. I mean, that's just jaw dropping. My words are a bit funny today. Jaw dropping. That's jaw dropping. Let me keep saying it. Jaw dropping. That's jaw dropping. I'm stuck now. jaw dropping. Amazing how there can be so much different, like just like a tree. It's not a real tree, but still, like every leaf is unique and different. I mean, every blade of grass is like how it's beyond beauty, beyond comprehension. Every breath is different. I mean, how you can't comprehend that. Our brains can't comprehend that. And there's and there's no need to comprehend it. Like it is known. It is known what everything is, no matter how different, no matter how diverse each leaf or blade of grass or breath is. It's known what every blade or leaf or breath is beyond its appearance. It's what everything is beyond its appearance. But lost in identification, in mind, in thought, there is this division, there is this living from a divided place, living from abstracted place. Living from ungrounded place, living in a dream. Living in a dream. A dream of time, a dream of separateness. Whereas in coming back to this moment, to what is, there is no confusion. There is no story. There is no time. There is no problem. There is no you or me, or outside, inside. There's just what is. There's just everything. Which is the same as saying there is nothing, not a thing, no things, emptiness. Wholeness. So this is it. This is home. This is what is looked for. So I'll just check on. Well, no one's on Zoom, so I'll go to the chat box on YouTube. If you are not in, oh, it's me. Okay. How is non-dual awakening different from Kundalini awakening? Ooh, I don't know much about Kundalini awakening, so I can't really describe what that is. Yeah, my own experience of Kundalini awakening, that's what it was, is I have had experiences of this energy in the spine, going up the spine. I've had experiences of that. It's very pleasurable indeed. But I'm not really sure what Kundalini awakening is really. I can't possibly talk about that as I have no knowledge on it. But yeah, I have felt spine energy moving. So yeah. I mean, even non-dual awakening, can I even describe what that is? I don't know. Like, obviously I know that there's words. I know what, I've even used those words, non-dual awakening. But what that refers to here, non-dual awakening, is that waking up to the wholeness of everything, but everything isn't divided and separate. Waking up to this wholeness, it's energetic, waking up to wholeness. So this, you could say this movement back, you could say this dissolving of this position of a separate someone. But yeah, ultimately it's this end of division, like internally, ending of division, this opening to love. You could say a different way of saying it, but it's just this love, this wholeness, being everything, this wholeness being everything. Could you please talk more about that energy in the spine? I can't. I mean, it happened a while, for years now. I had it in the spine. I can't talk about it. It's just this energy in the spine, this orgasmic energy in the spine, bottom of the spine. It could have just been like a chakra, sacral chakra opening. I don't know, but it was definitely in the back, in the spine. And it just like, yeah, strong energy. I wouldn't know how to describe that any better. It's just this orgasmic energy in the spine, the base of the spine. Yeah. It was yeah, an experience, pleasurable experience. But it's best to talk to somebody who knows the theory around that and who knows more about Kundalini. I have no idea really about Kundalini. So maybe you can find somebody on YouTube or online who is more experienced in that terminology and in that description of what Kundalini is. Thank you. So back to non-dual awakening. So non-dual awakening is more the end of you, the end of you in a way. It's the end of you, the substance behind you. So in a way, I don't want to say it's the end of the person in a way, because there's still a character, there's still that functioning as if, you know, there's still a character, answers to the name, does stuff, has memories. There's still, you know, you could call it a person even, but there's no substance to it. There's no that sense of that person being somebody in here. Stops. Like it's not, it's like an old program, an old kind of software, superficial software. It's not actually the experience. Because before it felt like that character, personality person was actually a solid person moving, like it was a solid real person. Whereas in this awakening, it's the awakening to what truly is, what truly is living, what truly is doing and speaking and yeah, existing. It's not a person. It's not that character, that description of someone isn't the one who's actually living. It's like a facade or a mask, even a mask. And you go behind the mask and you see actually who that person who I thought and felt I am is just a mask. It's just a facade. Like we're playing as characters, we're playing as people, we're playing as someone, but it's not true. It's not true. It's so beautiful. And that's what the waking up is. Waking up to that illusion. Thank you, Samras. Sorry about that. My child went to the toilet. So the fan's just finishing blowing. Maybe you can't even hear the fan. Oh, love you too. God's will, cosmic law, my destiny. Does your lifestyle change after non-dual awakening? Does your lifestyle change? Well, I don't think there's a set rule about this. It can appear in any different way. It depends really on the human, how it's going to change. But I would generalize and say it would have some effect. It would reduce big effect really, not some, a big effect, but you can't know really. But yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to attribute things to necessarily what was from what. I don't know. I think my life had changed anyway, like way prior to this subject. So when you're getting into this subject, you tend to already be like in a position where you're questioning life, you're questioning what everyone's doing or what you're doing, or struggling in some area anyway, usually. So lifestyles change anyway as you're seeking, spiritually seeking, and as you're going into this subject. Naturally there's change in your lifestyle anyway, prior to this awakening. So yeah, it's hard to say, you know. Yeah, it's hard to say what part was from what. I was already in a quite a difficult position, place anyway, before I found this subject. So yeah, depends what you mean by lifestyle as well. Like my lifestyle definitely is different. Yeah, but it was different anyway, so I don't know. Just don't know. Sorry about that. I don't know. But yeah, you just don't know how it's going to affect each human, really. Yeah. But the main point is that it's the end of seeking. That's the main point, really, of the change, is the end of seeking. The end of grasping and seeking. And what I mean by that is like the end of believing that anything you want, anything, an experience, any object, any person, anything is gonna make you happy. It's gonna make you feel a peace and happiness. That's the biggest change. The end of believing in dreams. That something in time is gonna do it for you, fulfill you, be it. That's the biggest change. Well, obviously that will then change other things because there's no seeking for any of those things. So yeah. I get that energy in the spine. Oh, I don't know what it does. It feels very warm and pleasant. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it does. It's just pleasant. Yeah. 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 I used to get like this one little shiver now and again, years and years ago, but then a few years ago from now, like it was like a real different, stronger one, stronger, like rather than a little shiver, it's more like a big like energy, big, yeah, really powerful. And I became very sexual as well, very highly sexual. Could be a chakra thing as well. It could just be that. I'm not sure if it's Kundalini or not, but very highly. I've never felt so sexual in my life ever. I'm not that sexual normally. I'm not asexual, but I'm not heavily sexual, but probably lean more towards asexuality actually. But I do have some sexuality, but that was like so. I mean, it's so intense. I've never had such a strong, yeah, powerful, really powerful. Yeah, God, it's so powerful. Anyway, yeah, pleasant. Something has changed in me since I saw your last live. I can't name it. It is me, the real me. Oh, that's beautiful. Something has changed in me since I saw your last live. I can't name it. It is me, the real me. It feels like we are immortal beyond time and space. And I'm having little warm or electric flow along my spine. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have any concern or worry about it or read too much into it. Just like this allowance of it happening, whatever's happening. The real me. That really touches me. It really touches me. Thank you for expressing that. born again. Don't know what to make of it. Yeah. Yeah. In this moment, it always is fresh. You are born again. Like it is like it's timeless. It is timeless. Time appears in this. This idea that you are this small character moving in time, you are the storyline moving in time. You're born, you live for a while, you die. That's such a limitation. That's such a limitation, a small thing in this infiniteness. It's waking up beyond that small narrowness of a story of me. The story of a personal me. That's fine, but like, what is that appearing in the story of someone sitting here looking, thinking, speaking? That story of someone. What's that appearing in? But this isn't something intellectual that you can think about and work it out and have a narration about. The narration about this isn't this. The narration is purely a narration. It's purely words and thoughts and stories and ideas and concepts. This is beyond that. It isn't limited to that. Can't really say anything about this. Can't really call this anything. We use words to speak and to describe, but you can't really call this anything. What's being spoken about can't be called anything. Mm. So that's probably the end of the stream now. Thank you for joining and for liking the video and for subscribing and for your messages and questions. And yeah, so I'll see you next time. Lots of love.